and welcome back to LinkedIn Logs, the business, the jobs podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 49. Here we are, fading out the song and waiting for it to stop on GarageBand because we've been following along with my current issues with Spotify. It's that they got rid of the Podcaster app in a way that I need to use it. Here we are, episode 49 of LinkedIn Logs. What's been going on with me? There you go. I recently just received a whole slew of denials from just different jobs, I applied to. Let's see, Warner was obviously one of them. A place called yesterday at 5:02. A place called Mission Wired. They did not call me. They emailed me. Apparently I applied to them. I don't know what Mission Wired is, but it seems to be some sort of nonprofit company, or I don't know. Who else? Who else denied me? New York Times. Let's see. I know I just saw something. Oh, yeah, Sirius XM. Oh, I just applied to something for that. Multicultural copywriter, agency temp. I don't remember doing that. Apparently that was almost 24 hours ago, 11:45. So, things are moving. One day I'm going to win the Mega Millions and never have to do this again. Although I'd probably still do this podcast. I need an outlet. I need a business podcast outlet. Other than that, what's been going on? Nothing much in terms of job stuff. You want to hear what's going on in my personal life? You got to listen to the Constitutionals. That's how you hook them, baby. I don't know if I talked about this, recording that audiobook. Actually, I'm not technically recording it. And it's not my audiobook. But after this, I will be recording some bits and bobs of that book. Because I think it is due in a month. Or I think it's due in like 2 weeks. And if I could just knock it out and find another one. Oh, baby, I want to keep this going. I don't know if I mentioned this either. There was also another point when I was when I did like a survey thing. I can't talk about what was on the survey, or if there was a product involved, or if it was for a big social media company or anything. I didn't say nothing. But I'm still a part of that survey website, and the survey was, I went to a place for 3 hours and I did stuff with a device for a big company that may or may not have social media presence. Any Hoosers. I'm still a part of that website, the survey website. So I was trying to see if I can find any other opportunities there. And it's a lot like LinkedIn or Indeed. You apply and they say, hey, you'll be great for this. And then they never get back to you. U-Test. That's what it's called. U-Test. And then the audiobook is through an audiobook platform where anybody can sign up, apparently. I'll tell you that much. Okay, all right, let's get on with the stories I have. This comes from The Verge, written by Mia Sato. Gannett is shuttering a site Gannett is shuttering site accused of publishing AI product reviews. Now, before I continue with this story, this has been an ongoing issue for the past couple of years, not just in the news media, in the written media industry, but also within the Gannett. AI, if you don't know, is artificial intelligence. And I mention this every single week. One of the big things that actors in SAG and the writers and Writers Guild and other guilds were trying to fight against when they were doing the work stoppage. What is it? The strikes last year, and now on top of other things, the video game industry video game voice actors are doing the same thing. They're fighting against AI, the use of AI in work, the ability to have, a Paramount or a Warner Brothers or a Disney go to an AI tool and say, write me a scene for the next live action Lilo and Stitch. No, nobody wants that. And studios should not have the ability to do that. So now we've kind of staved that off until the next go round. But it's been a big pressing issue when it comes to news sites. CNET, which is owned by, it was sold by CBS, so I'm completely wrong. I don't know who owns CNET right now. But CNET is owned by IGN now, by Ziff Davis. Ziff Davis, I believe, owns CNET. Ziff Davis, CNET. CNET is to be sold to Ziff Davis. That was as long ago as August 6th. Wow, that's crazy. So anyway, there's a point where, yes, it is true that AI is going to be used not as a main way to write news, but as a tool to help writers write things, not for television, and not even and I could tell you, I could probably say this very confidently, writers do not want to use this. Good writers do not want to use this. But in terms of news, New York Times, CNET, just a bunch of companies that we know have already been using AI tools. And now Gannett is in trouble for using AI product reviews. Again, this happened before. In 2023, I had to wait and look for this article to load. This comes from CNN, written by Claire Duffy. Hey, I know Claire. Gannett to pause AI experiment after botched high school sports articles. Gannett is a newspaper chain. They own newspaper, USA Today. Newspaper Today. Oh, Newspaper Today. I can't wait to read the sports section and the business section where they talk about business and sports, irrespectively. Gannett was using artificial intelligence tools to write high school sports dispatches after the technology made several major flubs in articles in at least one of his papers. So they stopped using it, and that was in August of 2023. Several high school reports written by an AI service called Lead AI, L-E-D-E, AI, all one word, and published by the Columbus Dispatch earlier this month went viral on social media this week. I'm not going to finish the sentence because it's written like a child wrote it. In one notable example, preserved by the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, which is an excellent tool in and of itself, the story began, the Worthington Christian winning team mascot, in brackets, defeated the Westerville North losing team mascot, in brackets, 2-1 in an Ohio boys soccer game on Saturday. Jeez Louise. I understand why Gannett was doing this, because they don't want to pay people to cover local sports. And if they can just get a local sports score from, oh my gosh, is it a Patch? Is that the Patch? Isn't that like the local neighborhood newspapery? They usually call it, because it's like Roswell Patch. Anyway, that's where I grew up, Roswell. But if that's something they want to put in their newspapers and say, hey, the Worthington Christian, whatever that mascot is, but this team beat this other team in this local high school soccer game because that's important news for them, then I completely understand the reach to do that. But at that point, why not just hire a where's Westerville and Worthington? I don't know. Why not just Columbus Dispatch? Why not just hire a Columbus-based reporter who can also do wider sports news, high school and professional or semi-professional, whatever teams they have within the state. Hire like 2 or 3. That is the reason they don't do that is because of money. But this is where, at this point in time, where AI will get you is making mistakes like that and having you publish it because you don't have anyone to check it. You don't have an editor to check if that's true or not, or even if it's formatted correctly. Now, moving onward, in October of 2023, Gannett was accused of their website, what's it called? Reviewed, having AI written those product reviews. I've never been to Reviewed. I assume it's a lot like Wirecutter, which is now currently owned by the New York Times, and you can go there and read the best reviews for. Why am I going on Wirecutter? Because this is going to be so distracting. The best ice cream maker is the top story right now, or the best dishwashers, or the best subwoofer, or articles like the best. Let me see. Let me go back to a regular article. Articles like it's actually okay to run the AC all day. Parentheses, even if you're not home. So that's what the Wirecutter is. But this comes from Jesus Jimenez, because nobody, you don't, listen here. You never meet anyone named Jesus anymore. If you're not watching the video, I grabbed my water bottle like it was a microphone. Like I was a 1992 stand-up comic. I had the air for it. Jesus Jimenez and Remy Tuman. Did AI write product reviews? Gannett says no. Writers and editors at Reviewed, a product recommendation website, say that the company used artificial intelligence to create reviews last week. Dang, they just tattled. So if you go to reviewed.usatoday.com, the reason I sighed is because if a pop-up comes on screen, I have an ad blocker on. If a pop-up comes on screen for a newsletter or something, I'm going to be pissed. And I was correct. It's a lot like Wirecutter, except they review everything. They don't just have like the best. Oh, they have the best. They have the best major appliances of 2024. The year's not over. When several articles were published last week on Reviewed, a USA Today owned website that recommends products, something seemed off. No one at Reviewed recognized the bylines and the pieces. Writers and editors at Reviewed started to look up the names but struggled to find proof, such as a LinkedIn account, that the people existed. The quality of the articles was also questionable. That's when they started to wonder, did artificial intelligence write those articles? 40 people at Reviewed say yes. Gannett said no. When you've been caught red-handed, when the idea is that the higher ups say, they don't want to give, they're testing or they don't want to give these stories to people. They're just small enough that they think they can get by, and you get caught red-handed. There's an issue. There are companies that come out and say, "Hey, we're going to work with AI tools while also allowing our writers to do their thing, or we're going to start implementing AI software within our writing practices or what have you." I know for the CNET situation, I believe that they announced that they were going to do AI things. I don't really know or have the time to look it up. I don't have the time recording a podcast. But there are companies now that now that all of this is kind of out in the open, there are companies for the past couple of months that have been working with OpenAI and other AI software companies in order to say, okay, you can scrape our website for or our published articles for with your AI tool, you can legally, go to Chat GPT 4 and say, I don't know, what's going on in Gaza? I couldn't think of something. It's so God. What's going on in Gaza? And then OpenAI can write you a whole explanation, and it can link to stories from Wall Street Journal, from USA Today, from whatever. But there are other companies, organizations like the New York Times that say, no, you can't do that. Some of the articles in question, I'm continuing this New York Times article, were run through artificial intelligence detection programs, which repeatedly found that some of them were not written by humans. A representative for the union that represents reviewed staff members said in an email on Friday. One of those programs, Winston AI, found that 3 articles had a, quote, 0% human score, indicating that they most likely were not written by a human, according to the union. Another had a 1% human score. Now, keep in mind, that was October 2023. Cut to a year later, almost a year later, Gannett is shutting down Reviewed, its product review site, effective November 1st. The site, after careful consideration and evaluation of reviewed business, we have decided to close the operation. We extend our sincerest gratitude to employees who have provided consumers with trusted product reviews. This has to be one of the most frustrating things for the people at Reviewed, not USA Today, for the people at Reviewed, not Gannett, the people at Reviewed, to have your job almost usurped by AI-generated product reviews from your company. Take your job taken out from under you, try to be replaced, and a year later, almost a year later, not even a year, 9 months, a baby could grow in that time, for that to be taken away from you. 10 months. I did the math wrong. It must be. It's frustrating, and you must be flummoxed. I'm using 2 F words. There's another F word I like to use. F. You. I'll stop. And it just doesn't. It's not a good look for Gannett. Because if the New York Times, Gannett is huge. Again, USA Today. If at any point the New York Times did this, the Wall Street Journal, even if Vox did this, this would be major news. To shut down, although, the New York Times didn't, they did shut down their sports section and replaced it with The Athletic, their big $3 million purchase. But that was a huge news, but it wasn't AI. This is a very lecherous move for Gannett to pull. Because that tells you at some point, if the people at Review, the 40 staff members at Review, didn't say anything about this, then they probably would have lost their jobs regardless. As The Verge reported last fall, the marketing firm behind Reviewed content is the same company that was responsible for a similar dust-up at Sports Illustrated, in which remarkably similar product reviews were published and attributed to freelancers. So, I mean, the thing is, okay, to do a news story, I get, and I'm not defending this, but to do a news story, I understand. You can just give all the facts to the AI tool and say, please write a story with all these facts and details. But for a product review, you need someone to go hands-on. So that means other people outside of Review, as I just read for the Sports Illustrated thing, were complicit. Not inside Reviewed. I'm saying outside Reviewed, hired by Gannett. They were complicit to the usurpation, which is not a word, but the usurping, the way that these people, usurping, the way that these people lost their jobs. Period. That means that They hired somebody like me, and this is not a job I would take. They hired somebody like me, and look, I know I'm supposed to be like, yeah, I'll do anything, but to use AI to do something like that, no, I'm not doing that. But to hire somebody like me, a freelancer, a contract worker, to write 10 articles and to say, hey, we're gonna send you a hydro flask. We're gonna send you this hydro flask. You compare it to a Yeti, and you write down all your bullet points and just put them in AI software, and then make something out of that. That is such a backwater way of how things should be done. Not only for writing news or anything in that sphere, but for media and for jobs in general. The company that they used was Advon, which The Verge did an investigation into it and showed that the company has spammed the web with marketing content, some of which former employees say is indeed AI generated. Ben Foss, CEO and co-founder of Advon, has for years used his connections in media to land contracts with news outlets, often setting up elaborate marketing schemes to enrich himself. They've worked with Us Weekly. I mean, can you imagine a weekly article about the United States? Well, there are more school shootings today. And the Los Angeles Times. In response to The Verge's reporting, Ben Fa, who's the CEO and co-founder I just mentioned, said in an emailed statement that the company, quote, generates affiliate revenue which publishers use to fund newsroom operations and salaries, which is untrue. Because those people would still have jobs, and they would have known about the thing ahead of time. And this is not an uncommon thing, as mentioned. In recent months, other news organizations, including the Associated Press, have announced similar ventures. The Associated Press launched an e-commerce site with Taboola, and it's called AP Byline, and it's a website which I am now currently searching for. I can't find it. Okay, why is it on Muckrack? Muckrack, if you don't know, is if you are a news person, you're a journalist. You sign up for Muckrack, and then as long as your name is in the byline, it'll collect all of that. It's good for jobs. Why? Why does AP need, because AP wants to go after ads and get more clicks and stuff like that. Associated Press wants to do that. But why do you need an ad commerce site? Why do you need a website where people are coming, I'm looking for the best printer. I hope it's a Brother. Yeah, I have a Brother printer sitting next to me. And yeah, it's one of the expensive ones. And yeah, I got it when I was working on a reality show. Not the one I was on. I was working on one. Yes, I was on a reality show. It was a dating show. It was a long time ago. I'll never talk about it again. Now, currently, this is going to be an entire episode about AI and Gannett. This is written by Mia Sato over at The Verge. Newspaper conglomerate Gannett is adding AI-generated summaries to the top of his articles. If you read the USA Today, which I don't know why you would, or any Gannett-based thing, you can already go to, you know what's really interesting? Again, I mentioned this before. I have an ad blocker on every single. I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3 different Internet Explorer. Actually, I have 4. I have 4 different ways to go on the internet on my computer and on the iPad. On my phone, I only have 2. But each one has the same ad blocker on it. Anyway, I clicked off of the link from this Verge article that Mia wrote, going into USA Today, and it was ad blocked. That's how messy that website is. But if you go to a USA Today or a Gannett produced website, if you go to the top of the article, you'll see the key points. And I'm gonna click on a random article. I'm gonna click on aggressive water buffalo on the loose in Iowa, police on the hunt. Oh, it's not even up there. Okay, I'll just go to this one. LA County unleashes sterile mosquitoes to control the population. Here's how it works. Okay, but then if you scroll down under the headline, Jesus, if you scroll down under the headline, you'll see a section that says key points, and you'll see 3 or so some summations, Senate summations that have everything. Now, they are not, again, Gannett is not the first company to do something like this, but every other company that I've seen, every other news company I've seen that does a key points or a summary section, I don't believe uses AI generated way to do that. The only other 2 I'm thinking of currently are CNBC and Axios. Now I'm currently on, you know what? I'm going to go back to that AP launches a commerce, e-commerce site with Taboola. Now, if you go to Axios, you click on whatever story, they've always had their stories essentially summed up like this. Headline, and then some type of log line after a big main piece photo. Why it matters, exactly those words. Just a summary of the story. What's next? A summary of what's coming, obviously. How it works and context. Things along those lines. And if you go to CNBC, you'll see the headline, you'll see the byline, and then you'll see the key points of whatever story. And again, that's usually 2 or 3 things. And you scroll down, you can read the entire story with all the pertinent details. With all the details that were inside of the key point section. So again, Gannett is not the only company to summarize their stories at the top of the story. They're just the first ones who can admit that yes, we are indeed using AI to do it. At least they've been planning this at least since May 14th, according to a memo that Mia quotes in here. And this article is from May 16th. The AI-generated summary aims to enhance the reporting process and elevate the audience experience. Oh, Jesus. And in the same memo, the AI model that powers the tool was trained in-house over 9 months. Sounds like they have a baby. It's enough time to make a baby. But that's what it is. I mean, the AI model, let's go off with that. The AI model is a baby. It's nascent. And yeah, you're going to need to put it out in the world at some point, but for what reason? If Gannett and the New York Times and Axios and AP and all these other news sites and Wall Street Journal and all these other news sites, if their goal is to retain readers, why would you want to put the key points up there? Isn't the idea to have somebody who's not like me, who doesn't have an ad block on their computer, and when they see a story from USA Today, they go there and they see the video starts playing. Every single article has a video. The video starts playing at the loudest possible volume, and they see this article and they keep scrolling down to see all the paragraphs that have been written about the article. And they accidentally hit X on that video to get it to close, but it takes them to the front page of USA Today, which is something I hate. But all the while they have ads on the side. It's just, hey, you've been looking at TRX bands. Well, here's a TRX band for you. You should come buy it at trx.com. Or hey, you've been looking at Hydro Flask. So isn't the point retention? Because if I'm that person, I've already got all the information I need. There's no added stories in this, there's no, here's more stories. No, it's, I scroll to the bottom and it's just about, support, stay connected, our portfolio. So what do you gain from this? Because someone's going to get that information and then immediately leave and go back to whatever they were doing, scrolling on TikTok, posting on Instagram, reading a different article. So what do you get out of this, Gannett? This is a bad way to treat the people that work for you. They're going to want to go somewhere else. And you can say, great, we're going to hire other people. But when other people get sick of that same shit too, then they're going to leave. We've proven, and I think this is bad, but we've proven time and again that if someone can make money on their own and publish a Substack or make TikTok videos, or just be a contributor to CNN, or be a contributor to the New York Times and do their own thing and be their own boss, then they will. If you don't show loyalty, Gannett, Warner, Disney, Apple, if you don't show loyalty, then no one's going to show it back to you. You want us to kiss the hand. Well, honey, that hand better be clean. The addition of AI-generated summaries comes as members of a local union raise concerns around proposed contract language regarding the use of AI. According to Digiday, unionized workers at the Democrat and Chronicle in Rochester, New York, were alarmed to see a clause added to their contract during bargaining that read, quote, artificial intelligence, AI, may be used to generate news content. We have to keep reading into this. Because if that was added into their contract, just one line, imagine what could happen the next time contract negotiations are up or coming around. Then they're going to add in more. They're going to take and take and take. Not they. The companies will take and take and take. This is why unions are important. This is why the New York Times, those writers have unions. This is why news has unions. Okay, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to your favorite famous people. If you want to see a video version of the show, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see video versions of the other podcasts. The Constitutionals, which is the entertainment business news podcast, and Late Night Lately, which is the late night show. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at cpluscomedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Subscribe to every podcast wherever you get your podcast. Thanks. Bye.